ever since I've joined this project, I've been able to plan my life very well with what was given to me. I'm able to start up a little business and to see what I can do or how I can move on with my life.
Because I benefited from that program that will enable me to pay my children to complete my children's school fees.
It was difficult for us to remove our produce from the farms right up to where we can take it to town. The project really played an important role to us as individuals and as a community.
Things as well they bring to work here, so I don't get anything for do. So my ID card expire. So things I managed they don't work, so I didn't have to make the ID card.
These Cameroonians, who are inhabitants of the crisis-stricken northwest region of Cameroon, were able to achieve some of their objectives in life thanks to their participation in the Peace and Development Initiative of the Northwest Regional Assembly, popularly referred to as the PDI.
People were so afraid that people were not getting together anymore. Meetings were rare. Socio-cultural events were stopped in the region. And basically, we had to devise projects that will bring everyone together.
In February 2022, the Ministry of Plan and Regional Development, MINIPAT, invited us for a working session, a seminar in Buda, that was in the West region, under the leadership of the director of IMO. That is what we call in English HILA, the High Level Intensive Approach, to drill us on the method and procedure of managing projects under that system. After the seminar in Buda, we prepared a guide. The guide was to accompany the Regional Executive Council and the various actors in the field. We got to that guide, first of all, taking cognizance of the Prime Ministerial Decree of 2014/0611 of the 24th of March 2014. That gives us the applicability of IMO projects. Of course, there was a national guide that was prepared in December 2017. That guide gives us the modality, the percentage of how the ILA projects were supposed to be executed. They are not technicians of the field, so I wanted to guide them in such a way that when they get to the field, they will not have difficulties in executing the ILA project.
The PDI that has so far been implemented for 2 years now is a people-centered and community-driven peace initiative costing about 475 million francs CFA.
The PDI was in two phases, the social action phase and community decentralized activities. So social action meant that we went to the community, we launched the activities, and we had seminar with the population on the question of peace, in which we educated the population on the outcome of the major national dialogue and the question of special status put in place by the President of the Republic for the Northwest and the Southwest. And during that phase, we also had cultural activities, sporting activities, exhibitions of traditional crafts. So at the end of that phase, we introduced the second phase of the first phase that had to do with the project realization. And so from there, the participants that were made up of traditional leaders, religious authorities, women in the development space, that is village development associations, people living with disabilities, and youth presidents of development associations. So they took it now, went back to their various villages and started working on their projects.
In order to ensure a smooth and effective implementation of the projects within the norms of government's financial management policy, the services of some credit union networks were solicited through a memorandum of understanding to take care of the financial aspect of the project.
The microfinance sector within the Northwest region, which is represented by 3 networks. We have the CAMCO, RECOCAM and Rainbow, had to implement the financial aspect of it. And this financial aspect of it was broken down into 3 sectors. In the course of implementing the execution of the payments, it went successfully, and it is broken down into 2 principal levels. We have humanitarian and social action. And in the execution of this process, we take the advantage to now within the financial inclusion, where we know that these people are coming from the villages in the suburbs, don't have access to financial institutions like the classical banks. We take this opportunity to do financial education, to bring to at least know how to manage the little that is being given to them.
Through the PDI, the Northwest Regional Assembly has been using the bottom-top and participatory approach in development, as the projects in the different localities are identified and elaborated by the communities, whose members are also recruited to carry out the projects for payment. This is done under the coordination and supervision of the divisional and subdivisional coordinators of the initiative.
During the training seminar, where we brought the Peace and Development Committee members, after they were selected, they were formalized by a prefectural order of the senior divisional officer for Donga Mountain Division. So they have a legal binding document that gives them that permission, that leeway to carry out their work. And on them now, during the training seminar, they were the ones, because we guided them on how we wanted the peace building to go, they were the ones who listed the criteria of selection of youths with regards to the execution of the project they had selected from their various subdivisions.
You and me, we.
Mr. J, Ako, Mwa, and Kambe took mostly road maintenance projects, while Mr. J took part of the leveling of the Mr. J Youth Empowerment Center, and Ndu opted to plant trees, very good trees, medicinal water catchment trees that they planted in some 3 water catchment areas in Ndu subdivision. In some subdivision, like for example, I take the case of Mwa subdivision, one of the criteria was they were going to select youths who are along the roads that they were going to be maintaining, so that they should not bring youths from far distant area to come and be carrying our peace building, carrying our work on the roads. They wanted mostly youths who were idle, so that they could be occupied, and then they give them some little pay at the end of the work. So they had a list of criteria that was mapped out by them, the various committees, and they were the one now who went back to the various subdivisions in their committee. They sat in their committees and they laid down the criteria, pasted it, and what they did was they asked for interested youths and who matched the criteria to apply. When they applied for the job, for the peace building project, the committee now sat and studied the files that they all had, and then they selected based on how they could select. The committee supervised the work weekly and took attendance of those who were working every week, and they did the summary of the details. That they made all the summary of that attendance work, and at the end of the month, they now signed a PV and forwarded it to the credit union. In the credit union, the managers of the credit unions are members of the Peace and Development Committee, so they were already trained to carry out the payment.
And communicate with presidents
We have the contract that we follow up closely to see that all the technical specifications are being respected, and then we have follow-up meetings that we hold monthly, weekly, in order to see the progress of the contracts or the execution of works on the field. As you can rightly see now here, we are in the Nkambe Palace. You can see we had a contract here of the renovation of the museum, which has been executed 100%.
We had in all 707 beneficiaries, young people who were recruited by the local peace and development committees to be able to carry out this work. So Bello had 200 youths, Njinikom 200 youths, Fundong 200 youths, and Boom 107 youths. For each subdivision that received 10,834,720, 30% of this money went for durables. We procured working equipment, machetes, hoes, wheelbarrows, and so on, which they used to work. And at the end of the work, these materials, they were ceded to the local councils for custody.
We carried out projects in all of these subdivisions. So we had 6 major projects. The first one was in Kumbu, which was the Dinjamnui Tobin roundabout stretch of the road, which is about 7 kilometers, and then Dinjamnui Miluf Bridge. Then we had the rehabilitation of the Mbiami Market. We had an extension of water in Jakiri. We had extension of the rehabilitation of roads in Oku, Noni, and in Kum. So we had mostly road projects in 4 subdivisions, water projects in one of the subdivisions, and then market rehabilitation in the other one. So the Saw people or the Bui people generally accepted and embraced this PDI because they had a slogan, "We welcome peace with a smile."
For Momo division, we had altogether 11 projects that covered about 42 villages. And so for the projects, we had 2 water projects, 1 water rehabilitation project in Anung village, another water rehabilitation project in Jinibi village. Then we had 6 road projects. We had road project in Bengui. We had road project in Njikwa subdivision. We had road project in Widikum, covering about 32 villages of Widikum. Then we had another road project in Batibo from Ambo, Gowu, AY. So they rehabilitated the roads in those villages. Then we had another project that was a palm nursery that we did for Inye village. So the palm nursery is there. At the end, the palms will be distributed to the beneficiary farmers to go and plant in their various palm farms. Direct beneficiaries of these projects are about 806, but the indirect beneficiaries are many, because once a road is rehabilitated, everybody uses it. Once you rehabilitate water, many more people have access to water than before.
We were fixing our quarter by fixing the road, creating culvert rings, putting them in various junctions that has never been there. So we succeeded in having about 5 different entrances in the quarter.
Stanta was carved out into 4 zones, and 5 projects were identified. The 5 projects were extending pipe-borne water to certain areas in the community, in expanding expanding the road networks of some quarters like in Akum, in Barafon and Buchu. The route there was expanded. Then there was also cleaning in some areas like in the center as well as in Baligam area.
Peace and Development Initiative for Bafut consisted of rehabilitating the Njin, the three-corner stretch of road to the Bafut market, and then the Bafut market stretch of road to the Bafut Palace. So our work was to refill the potholes on the road, dig the gutters, and also help in the construction of damaged culverts that made the road impassable due to its deplorable state.
We had about 300 persons that we employed, where we did mostly cleaning and arrangement of routes. So actually we did the cleaning of all the major institutions in the division, and also in all the 13 villages that make up the Okatunja division. We had to repair routes. We did cleaning of institutions like the health centers and schools.
We had earmarked farm to market roads and to other villages that were not accessible for them to get to Noni called town in particular. And so we just ended the one that went well from Montale to Ebanya, and we are looking forward to other areas that are not quite accessible. So, but with this one, we did so well. It has ended from Ebanya to Montale.
The Peace and Development Initiative of the Northwest Regional Assembly has positively impacted the lives of some communities in all the 34 subdivisions with projects and financial gains.
Many youths who were just hiding around, they came in for the recruitment, and we earmarked 141 youths, but at the end we were surprised that some youths even came just to volunteer and do the work, and we're surprised that people can leave just to come and do any work that is entering the subdivision. So we're very, very impressed with that. Thank God we opened our roads. You know, our subdivision has a very big frontier with the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Most of them who went even to neighboring Nigeria came back, and we walked our road. Now goods can pass through Nigeria to Cameroon, vice versa, and most of them are even doing their business around the area. So they are very happy to see that even vehicles are now leaving, even Bamenda passing through Nwa now to Nigeria, due to the road that we tried to change the situation.
This work which they did with their hands, they dug the road, they made bridges on that road. They call it Mochina Road, a road that they have never seen a bike, even a bicycle on that road. Today, bicycles are able to go to that road and carry bikes, can carry corn, carry things that are helping us, food that are helping us in the town.
We employ children from our own area here, like the boys in the bushes who were roaming around the village. They had nothing to do. They came here, they did the work successfully, and then at the end they were paid.
Women, most especially, who took part in the project around the community now, were able to start up life again because the resources helped them a lot. We have women who decided now to open up their little restaurants. And so youths in the area too, some of them now decided to use their money to go in for apprenticeship to train on how to repair telephones, and some now got to some carpentry workshops and they were able to sponsor themselves in that. You have others who were able to, beef up the money they got to buy their bikes.
We did get difficulties with the bridge. The bridge be even caused some damages where some people will get problem with the foot for that bridge. But alhamdulillah, now we don't get a very good bridge where people they cross to go towards Sona Street.
They were being employed to gain a source of income within a short period of time. That enabled them now to pay school fees, to buy their school needs, to pay school fees, those youths, and for those parents, they were able to buy school needs to their children. Some youth even opened petty businesses.
When this program came and we were shortlisted and selected,
Later on, we had public toilets, and I think it was a great initiative because through the project itself, you had so many of our young people around the community who were employed to work within the framework of the project. And from the financial resources they benefited, I think really helped them in so many ways actually to make better their living conditions.
In mobilizing the population of the communities in which the PDI was implemented to work together and interact with each other, the spirit of a shared communal life was revived. Many youths who had taken up arms also dropped their weapons to reunite with their communities in order to live a normal life.
In some of the villages, those who are taking up arms participated in doing the work, and in most of those villages we see that the level of crime that were committed by those boys is reducing.
It was a moment of sharing, to talking about how we could go about more initiatives in the community that will enhance peace and of course development in Bafut subdivision.
The comments that came back from the community were very positive to promote living together, bringing back the citizen participatory approach in community development was something that I think could be emulated and applied anywhere else within the country.
With all what has been happening for the past 8 years, young people no longer came out to do community labor. But this time around, it's true they came out to work for pay, but the spirit remained in them.
If we're having a certain level of peace now, and the cleanliness of the routes that are passable today, it is actually thanks to this Peace and Development Initiative program.
Given the enormous benefits associated with the PDI, many of the stakeholders and the beneficiary community leaders are appealing vehemently for the project to continue.
When you look at certain aspects of culture and tradition, which we have the greater responsibility today to safeguard, we feel that there are some aspects where in collaboration with the regional assembly we really want them to intervene in those sectors, especially planting raffia palms around the community, because you know the raffia palms, they serve a cultural need for the palace and the community as a whole. That is what we use in carrying out libation. It serves not just a cultural need, but also it has an economic purpose. The palm wine which we produce, it serves an economic purpose, and why not for preserving the environment? I think it's very important, and why not the water resources around the community?
The people of Kumbu, they're expecting to get a second phase, and they are hoping that this phase will be granted them.
In spite of impediments such as the fear factor and ignorance, the initiators of the PDI are satisfied with its significant contribution to the return of peace, stability, normalcy, and development in the crisis-hit Northwest region.
To us, it is a project that aids in social cohesion, harmony, and builds a local economy through changing the mindsets, but more importantly, lifting up the people's self-esteem. Because one of the problems we found was that there's so much low self-esteem. People think they are worthless, they are unable to do anything. But you find out that they start believing in themselves again. And I think all of these aspects put together in no small way will contribute in bringing back the peace.
During his maiden visit to the Northwest Regional Assembly, the Minister of Decentralization and Local Development, George Elanga Obam, said it is a laudable initiative that other regions should copy.
I must also salute the participatory method you employed in actively involving the citizens in seeking local solutions to their daily problems. The president should go through the regions and show what he is doing. They do have a kind of organization that is taking all the 10 regions. So by the next assembly they are going to have, I asked to the president to make a presentation of what they are doing here. And if they show it to the other regions, they can see how you can use a population will not need to have a lot of money to do things that are producing results.
His views are shared by the members of the Northwest Regional Executive Council, who are of the opinion that the PDI could have far-reaching socio-economic benefits nationwide if it is expanded to other regions.
We had people who had moved from Fundong to Njinikom, and when we were doing the selections, even they who are from Fundong but resident in Njinikom, they registered to work. If that can happen in Boyo, it therefore means it can happen in all the other divisions. It therefore means if we extend this to the entire nation, we will have youths, we will have Cameroonians from Gaoundéré who are in Yaoundé, who will be selected to do community work in Yaoundé, and vice versa. So I think living together is possible. Regaining peace is possible. It's just a matter of the will.
It is sort of a collective group psychotherapy. When we are together, we're talking. I would wish, of course, that that's a good human attribute. For our humanity, I would love that my whole country is in a mood of living as one another's brothers, so that UNAMI, MINAMI, is not just a slogan for the Northwest, but it's for all humanity, for Cameroon, for anyone for that matter.
In line with the aspirations of many a Northwesterner, preparations for the second phase of the Peace and Development Initiative have already begun at the Northwest Regional Assembly in Bamenda. Hence, it is more than likely that the second phase of the project will be launched anytime soon.